Hi everyone, Brent again. This is the third installment in the greenhouse build. It's starting to get pretty nice outside, 70s during the day and 50s at night, and I need to get this thing finished. Over there you can see where my ribs are going up, and you can't see me yet, but I'm videotaping this so you can see how one person can do this entire job by himself. And this is how I get one rib from the deck where you saw me putting it together to over where they're at over there. And I'll install it. So here we go. Put screws on both sides of these, it's pretty sturdy, so I'm just going to grab it in the center and drag it. Gotta watch the little willow here. I got a little willow over here, which I'm going to relocate later. Go over that. Now we're going to install it. One side in. Side in. Voila. Okay, ribs are in. I've completed all the ribs. And I'm taking the treated 2x4s and I'm strapping them against the 1-inch EMT with the 2-hole straps. And it's off the ground right now. And I'm making sure it's level, and it doesn't have to be exactly level, but the point here is to get a straight connection at every join, and then it'll be off the ground for when I add the plastic, and I'll pull the plastic up underneath and then I'll let the straps down. So that's the purpose of it being raised right now. Well, this is how I do it. I take a 2-hole strap and I put one screw on one side. That way it can move up and down. And I use a board. Remember that cheater from my defense? Well, it's propped up and I want to get some distance here because it's higher on the other end down there. So I'm going to tighten this in, and then I will move to this one over here and I will lift it up until that is approximately level, and then I'll tighten that one, and that's how I do it. Okay, I've strapped in 2 2x4s on this side all the way down. Now I've got to join these two. What I did was I drilled 4 holes, 2 for each side of the join, and I drilled them at an angle because the screws are a little bit long and they would go through to the other side, leave a little point someplace where the plastic could potentially tear. So they're at an angle, and I'm going to, before I said continue, I wanted to point out again the importance of drilling, pre-drilling. And that keeps it from splitting. And when you drill into this wood here, it'll pull this one tight to this one. So it's very important that you pre-drill. I'm going to use my battery powered drill to sink these. I'll see if I can do it with one hand and my foot. just for the purpose of this video. That far apart is what? See how it pulled it close? And do the other side. Close, and the two bottom ones. Alright, now you've got a nice strong join there. Alright, I ran a string from this end at 6 inches all the way to the end down there, and down there it's 10 inches. And because the ground is unlevel, these posts sticking up, the 1-inch EMT that's 18 inches in length that I hammered in the first video, now come into play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stop that the 3/4 inch EMT will run into. Okay, I set the camera in the grass so I can show you this. It was too hard to do with one hand. So anyway, this end is 6 inches. And I'm going to put a stop, which is a self-tapping screw, just underneath it. Okay, and what that does is, this is set come out. Now I just slide it down until it hits the stop. And there you go. That way I know the bottom of this 3/4 inch EMT is roughly at the 6 inch mark here, and I'll do that all the way down the line like I've already done on this side. Alright, all the ribs are in, and you can see from this side that the angles aren't exactly where I want it yet. There's some bend differences here. And down this line there's a few. And I'll go down and I will make little corrections. Okay, this I can live with. That's the left. And here's the right. Now, it's not perfect. This stuff is so, well, I won't say flexible, but it is not precise by any means, but I like it. And this is what I'm going with. Bracing up the ends, you can see I've got a 3/4 inch EMT running from there to the third rib, and I took a sledgehammer and flattened out the end. I drilled a hole barely smaller than this screw in here, and then the 3/4 inch EMT on this side, I drilled one hole that was a good bit smaller than the screw, and then I made sure that this pole was level. Well, first I sunk this one, and I went down here and I took a measurement with the level over there level, and I measured the correct distance here and put a coupler, because this 10-foot section was 14 inches too short. So I fixed it together. Down here it's also bent. So once I made sure that the first rib was level, I set screws on both ends. Down the middle, after I did the end and the third rib here and attached this piece, I took and made sure that this was level, and I drilled through this piece with the bigger bit, so this will go through it easy enough. And this one with the smaller bit, so this decking or outside screw is what's called, would go through here into here. And that screw is just, it goes about halfway into, or a little more than halfway into this one. So that's the length of the screw. Hi everyone, Brent again. This is part 3 of my greenhouse build.